to go?
Yeah.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, my dear guests. Today, my heart is filled with pride and inspiration. 75 sessions ago, it all started with three boys and a big dream. A dream to give something back to the community of Vellore, to the people of Vellore. A dream that was not easy. People literally came to their faces and said that it was impossible to start a community club at Vellore outside VIT. They were doubted. How are you going to manage your finance? Nobody's ever heard of a Toastmasters before. Who's going to join? How will you find a venue to operate? In fact, the very first session of Vellore Toastmasters Club happened in a small nursery school hall. All the chairs were for the small kids, and just the guests who were invited had to find a way to adjust themselves in that small chair. The next 5-6 sessions were a complete disaster. People would come and go, but nobody joined. It breaks your heart. But they had a dream, and they're not going to give up whatsoever. So they pushed. They went outside to the people of Vellore, spread the message that there is this club that helps improve communication and leadership skills. Come and see for yourself. And slowly, people saw. People started coming in. There was a glimpse of hope that this club is going somewhere after all. 1 became 2, 2 became 4, 4 became 8, 8 became 16, and with time, the club was growing leaps and bounds. But you know what's even more interesting? The people who started this club were already in a much better place. They would have chosen to stay in VIT club, which were much more flashier, much cooler, offering so much exposure and possibilities. But they chose to come out, try something new, something that might fail, for a chance of a future. Today, right here, right now, this is the future they might have seen then. The people who have founded and have run this club, they might not always be present to see how far we have come. But the legacy they have left will always continue to live through us. Ladies and gentlemen, with immense pleasure, I welcome you all to the 75th session of Vellore Toastmasters Club with a huge round of applause. इत्तू सा था टोस्टमास्टर, अब देखो कितना बड़ा हो गया. Before I hand the proceeding of the session to our beloved Toastmaster of the day, who's going to open our mind to a new understanding, as Sergeant at Arms, I would like to reiterate my duty. Keep your mic muted at all times. Unmute them only when you're speaking. Try to keep your cameras on, especially during the table topics. Kindly abstain from using your phones and use the chat box appropriately. Remember to have fun. What's life without fun? Over to the able hands of the presiding officer. Thank you.
Ritik, can you declare the session open?
All right. I declare the 75th session of Vellore Toastmasters Club open. Over to the TMOD of the day, Toastmaster Darsini.
Thank you, presiding officer. All of us in here, at least once in our lives, would have thought, why me? Why me? That's where fate comes in. The great German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche would describe his formula for human greatness as Amor Fati, love of fate. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests. I welcome you all to our 75th session of our Vellore Toastmasters Club. Amor Fati, a love of fate. In our busy lives, we fail to appreciate ourselves and the things that has happened to us. Instead, we go on a hamster wheel of complaining what has happened to us. Amor Fati is a reminder to accept what has happened and live a happy life. Be it good or be it bad, we are meant to make the best of it. Our Toastmasters meeting for today will have three sessions. The first will be prepared speeches, the second will be our table topic speeches, and the third will be evaluations and feedback. Before diving into our first section, let's call our general evaluator, Toastmaster Ankit.
Thank you, Toastmaster Darsini. Good evening, Vellore Toastmaster Club, and all the guests present here. I guess it was just feel like yesterday I just attended VTC's 50th milestone session. And look, time just flew away, and Vellore Toastmasters Club reached yet another milestone. Here, I think fate comes into play. I have been chosen to be the general evaluator for today. Good evening, Toastmaster guests. I'll be the general evaluator for today's session. The role of a general evaluator is to evaluate the whole session as a whole and present a report on all the role players that come up on stage today. Just like you, Vellore Toastmasters Club has a lot of pillars who have founded this club and brought it where it is today. I, the general evaluator, have three pillars with me as well, who help me on this journey throughout the session. Calling my first pillar, the timer for today, Toastmaster Samini. Over to you.
General Evaluator. Be Jeffrey Archer's Only Time Will Tell, Paulo Coelho's Maktub, John Lennon saying, "There's nowhere you can be that isn't where you're meant to be," or Nietzsche's Amor Fati. All great people have expressed their inclination towards fate, something that you cannot control. But today is a bit different. You and I together will control the fate of you winning your awards at the end. As your timer for today, I will keep track of the length of your speeches and also will be notifying you from time to time with green, yellow, and red cards. The prepared speeches will be given a time limit of 5 to 7 minutes, where the green card will be raised at the 5th minute, yellow at the 6th minute, and red at the 7th minute. Icebreakers will have a time limit of 4 to 6 minutes. Green will be raised at the 4th minute, yellow at the 5th minute, and red at the 6th minute. The table topic sessions have a time limit of 1 to 2 minutes. Green card will be raised at 1 minute, yellow at 1 minute 30 seconds, and red at 2 minutes. The evaluation speeches will have a time limit of 2 to 3 minutes. The green card will be raised at 2 minutes, yellow at 2 minutes 30 seconds, and red at 3 minutes. There are two rules for you to qualify. Your speech has to touch the green card, and a 30-second buffer time will be given to you after the red card is raised, before which you're supposed to complete your speeches. All the best to everybody who's giving your speeches today. May our fates be favorable to us today. Over to the general evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Samini. Now calling on my second pillar, the R counter for today, Toastmaster Vijay. Over to you.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Vellore Toastmasters Club, 75 and going strong. I am your counter today. Today morning, I was in a trek, and it so happened that I slipped my leg and immediately came the reflex from my mouth. This was due to the stress which I had out of fear. A speaker may utter such filler words like due to a stress response. It's a reflex. If you try to understand it, you may reduce them. Although it's quite natural, but it's perceived as lack of confidence and under preparation, which may stall you from your award-winning speech. I, as your counter today, will help you with a number of R's, ers, and repeated phrases like I know, I, and submit my report when called upon. Thank you and all the best speakers.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vijay. Now, calling for my last pillar, the grammarian for today, Toastmaster Sadhana. Over to you.
Thank you, Gentle Evaluator. Happy evening to fellow Toastmasters, friends, and guests. A grammar is not a set of rules, it's something inherent in the language. And language cannot exist without it. It can be discovered but not invented. This quote inserts you the importance of grammar, said by Chatton Laird. And my role as a grammarian here, my duty is to pay attention to the good use of English and provide a feedback for your improvements. At the end of the meeting, I will be back once again to present you my report. Before that, I would like to introduce the word of the day. The word of the day is to help fellow members to enrich your vocabulary in preparing speeches. For this meeting, the word of the day is the word propitious. The word propitious, meaning favorable, likely to produce a successful result. Meaning favorable, likely to produce a successful result. Here is an example for you guys. It's propitious time to start a meeting. You're encouraged to use word of the day as frequent as you could in this meeting, and I will count often it was used by each speaker. I will provide my report at the end of the meeting. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sadhana. Before we move on to this session, I have some ground rules for all of you. Since it's a new platform that Vellore Toastmasters is using, which you are not accommodated to, which is MS Teams, so I will request you to listen to this carefully. I request all the participants to have their video on throughout all times because it's encouraging for the speakers and role players who put in a lot of hard work today to prepare for their roles. And since there's no, you can easily unmute yourself. So the host of the meeting, please make sure that if anyone accidentally unmutes themselves, they can quickly go to the participants tab and scroll to their name and quickly unmute them. Do not click the mute all option at any time because that will cause the speaker also to get muted at that time, which you do not want. Again, let's physically applaud all the role players after they're done speaking and when they're being handed on, either physically or you can see on the top tab there's a reactions button as well, which you click on the applause one. It comes like this. You can see enough physical applause as well if you're unable to turn on your video as well. In the table topic segment, you can use a raise hand feature, which is like this. It comes in the participant tab. So you can use that for the table topic segment. Again, let's keep the energy high because it's after all Vellore Toastmasters Club's 75th session. So I'll be back at the end of the session to present my report. Till then, Toastmaster Darsini, back to you.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Moving on. Our first speaker is a newbie. I remember when her and I joined Vellore Toastmasters Club in January. We took Toastmasters as a resolution for 2021. Knowing her has been beautiful. Who doesn't love music? She sings. Who doesn't love adventure? She travels. Who doesn't love cakes? She bakes. We have Toastmaster Kriti to deliver her icebreaker, but before that, let's call her evaluator, Toastmaster Bharat.
A special evening to the pillars of the club and the external and most importantly, my dear fellow Toastmasters. So there is a saying that man makes mistakes and mistakes make the man. Yes, we all do mistakes in our life, but how many of us are ready to accept our mistakes? So we need a person to guide us through our mistakes. Yes, that's why I'm here today. So I'm the evaluator one for speaker one. So moving on to the speaker, so she is one of the most enthusiastic and energetic member in our club. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's none other than Toastmaster Kriti Surana for you. So she's going to do her icebreaker speech. So the purpose of the speech is to introduce herself to the club and also to learn the basic structure of a speech. And the time limit for the speech is about 4 to 6 minutes. So Toastmaster Kriti, all the best for you on starting your journey, and over to the TMOs.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bharat. Toastmaster Kriti. Chocolatey right. Chocolatey right, Toastmaster Kriti.
Am I audible and visible? Okay. Thank you, TM Moody. Good afternoon, Toastmasters and guests. This is Kriti, who's currently pursuing MTech Software Engineering in VIT, whose aim is to get into topmost MNC I'm ambivert, friendly, and nature-loving person who wants to keep the environment clean and would also encourage others to do so. My hobbies are singing and baking. I love to maintain a diary where I store all good memories and important dates. During the preparation of this speech, it took a lot of time in thinking how to start and what to write so that you people will feel enthusiastic in knowing about me. Slowly flashes. As I love chocolates, what could be the better way other than this to take you all for a ride to visit the three chocolates of my life? That is milk, white and dark chocolate. Person loving milk chocolate is calm, innocent and likes to go with the flow. This was exactly my childhood. On World Environment Day, my family had twinkle in the eyes when I was born. I loved being near waters and climbing heights. This is how much I could remember. I'm lucky to be the middle child. As you know, it has its own benefits. Study and ask doubts from elder sister Harshita and do mischiefs with younger sister and younger brother Ritu and Naiti. Coming to the white chocolate. Person loving white chocolate is happy in their own company and is more introvert than extrovert. This was exactly my teenage period, where you can always find me reading my favorite comic, Tinkle, and having a hairband on my head without which I won't go to school. In school, I was obedient, friendly, and punctual. Early to raise and early to bed were my principles. I loved sports and showed keen interest in team sports like volleyball and basketball because team members motivate each other to play well and we develop good communication skills and decision making skills. But sometimes it is said that self-motivation also plays an important role in pursuing one's goal. There came my 10th boards. Starting of the 10th, my best friend left me alone without informing me and shifted to Chennai. It made me so, I tried calling her several times. Her landline came unanswered. I was so depressed. Then suddenly, a magic happened. There was an announcement made in school that there's going to be a volleyball match in zonal level competition. It lifted all my spirits up. We started preparing and practicing for it and went to state level. This made me focus back on my studies. I started motivating myself by singing motivational songs every morning. The saying, work in silence, let success make noise, came true when I gave my heart and soul and topped boards and made my family proud. So, my elder sister, wrote a poem as a token of gift, in which a line said, 10th में टॉप करके सबके सामने बन गई हीरोइन, अभी 12th बाकी है मेरी बहन. So I shifted from state board to CBSE, central board, which is rarely done by people. I choose computer science as my stream and enjoy the last 2 years of my school life. Then coming to dark chocolate. Person loving dark chocolate sits on no fence when it comes to opinion, stands on ground with full energy and makes strong opinion decisions. This is exactly my college days still present. I made lot of friends who speak different languages and are from different parts of India. I'm happy that I choose my stream as computer science. I also sneaked into hostels and had night stays during Rivera, which is a cultural event in VIT. This is my journey from introvert to ambivert. 2020 lockdown period made me realize that the need for personal development, the need to address a gathering. I never tried to be on stage rather than dramas and dance in school. So I thought, why not? Why not give a try? In 2021, I joined a Vellore Toastmasters Club and became the board member of Nature Club, which is of my interest. I know I could have done it long back, but it's better late than never. I'm currently balancing my personal and career development. I would like to conclude by saying, don't wait for others to give you a push. Until you
Thank you, Kriti, for your wonderful speech. Let's take a minute to send feedback. Timer, please let us know when 1 minute is over.
One minute is over.
Our next speaker is a food enthusiast. She's a person who can bring in bundles of joy with her vibrant smile and dynamic self. She's known for taking up multiple roles during a crisis in Vellore Toastmasters Club. We have Toastmaster Priyanka delivering her level 1 project 2. But before that, let's call her evaluator, Toastmaster Anant Kumar.
Thank you, TM Modi. Good evening, pillars of VTC and my fellow friends and guests. I welcome to a smiley girl to deliver our level 1 project 2 speech about mountain of life. She is finished her MBA, now preparing for CAT. She loves animal and food and memes. And also she like to take all categories in VTC. None other than Priyanka. Welcome. Over to TM Modi.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anant Kumar. Toastmaster Priyanka. Mountain of Life. Mountain of Life, Toastmaster Priyanka.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day and my evaluator Anand Kumar sir for lifting up my spirits. Good evening to one and all. Never give up. I'm not going to start off by defining what it means or by giving quotes. I'm very sure we all have been listening to it right since kindergarten or singing songs like Hum Hoge Kamyab, Hum Hoge Kamyab, right? I thought, why not start off with a story? There was a lady who was a sportswoman as well as an aspiring police officer. One fine day, she boarded a train in order to write her CIPF police examination. To her bad, They were robbers in the train who tried to yank her chain. Being a brave and bold woman, she fought, she resisted, but unfortunately was thrown out of the train. Lying in the middle of the track, hurt, injured, screaming for help. Within the blink of an eye, she realized there was another train fast approaching her. And she opened her eyes to be in a hospital where the doctor told, "We need to amputate your left leg in order for you to lead a life ahead." Devastated and abashed, thinking of what had happened to her, she thought she never had a life ahead. It's all done at this very point. But this is when she heard a voice that told her, "So what? You have another leg. You can do wonders with it and be an inspiration to many." It was at this very moment she was born again. And exactly 2 years later, she climbed the Mount Everest and Toastmasters, that is none other than Arunima Sinha, the first ever woman amputee to climb not only the Mount Everest but many other such peaks. Just think about it. What if she had chosen to give up? What if she had thought she couldn't do it? What if she thought to live with the pain rather than take that brave step? She wouldn't have been known as an extraordinary person today, right? Just because she took that brave step is the reason we know her as one among the many inspirational personalities she is today. You see, you can either be that regular person and walk away from your problems, or choose to take that brave step like Arunima Sinha and climb the mountain of life. Sometimes in life, you may hit rock bottom. Now, what is rock bottom? It is that point in life where you feel like you've lost everything. You have nothing more to lose, and probably by this time you've experienced the worst. It is at this very point you began to question the choices you made, the circumstances you attracted, things that happened to you, things that didn't. You examined every raw detail of life that led you to this very point. But just remember, look back, you only take the lessons learned. Build yourself from ground and walk forward. This rock bottom is a huge springboard which can push you even further in life than what you were yesterday. But remember to forgive your mistakes and, most importantly, forgive yourself because you deserve it. You see, life is full of stop signs and hurdles, right? Ups and downs, and only when you experience all these, life seems to be complete. To be honest, I get bored when life treats me fair even for a week. I feel I'm doing something wrong rather than something right. These stop signs and hurdles may sometimes push you towards giving up. I've seen people who have put in months of hard work and dedication to clear a competitive exam, but in the end give up. I've also seen people who just by scanning the book, like Indiran Robo, and decide it's not for them and give up without even trying to attempt. A wise man knows when and how to give up and when to not. By quitting too early, you don't even travel past the hard part. The part where you experience and put in your hard work, which may actually pay off. There are many easy spaces in life which can guarantee you an easy win with even minimal efforts. But only when you walk past these easy paths comes the part where you need to put in your perseverance, hard work, and dedication to start seeing rewards. Remember, J.K. Rowling's novel got rejected 12 times before her first publication. On the other hand, we rarely hear stories whose morals are nothing but the person should have given up. Yes, these stories exist, but they're just not celebrated as much as the successful ones. One among such is the story of Sir Isaac Newton. He spent years and years trying to decipher a numerological code hidden in the Bible, which he thought could yield him the recipe to convert lead to gold. You know what, friends? Not knowing when to quit is also sometimes learning to fail. Sometimes what you're working for might not match reality, and yet knowing this, clinging on to the same direction can cost you a lot in life. The world we live in today is very competitive as in an unhealthy manner. The environment is not favorable and conducive for your growth. There are many people out there to to suck your energy than who want to see you grow. There are many people out there to discourage you, but I would say success tastes more good only when you have a bunch of people to discourage you. Don't let them zap you emotionally. Don't think what other people think about you, but think what you think about yourself and the point where you're standing in life and your actions. When I say the term success, it doesn't necessarily mean the success of Elon Musk's Tesla or NASA's mission Mars. It can be felt even in the smallest things. Like for me, success is going a week eating healthy. For somebody, it may be delivering a successful table topic. For someone else, it can be waking up in the morning. Success can be felt even in the smallest and little things, as simple as that. Start from baby steps, but remember, once you feel accomplished, do not settle because success is not a destination but a complete journey. I would like to conclude with this. Once Arunima Sinha scaled the Everest, she gave an interview. First half of which was from the Everest, and the second half was from the same place where she hit rock bottom in life. That very same railway track, she hit her legs and said, "If I can, why can't you?" This is it from me to you. Thank you, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmaster Priyanka, for your speech. Let's take 1 minute to send feedbacks. Timer, please let us know when 1 minute is over.
The 1 minute is over.
Up next is the most awaited section, the table topic speeches. Today's table topic master is an inspiration to many of us in here. In fact, he's known for his session, Delayed Gratification. We have Toastmaster Ritik to conduct our table topic session.
Am I loud and audible? Can you hear me? All right. It's been 25 sessions since I've joined VTC. Never have I ever, for once, picked up the role of a table topics master. There is a reason behind it. I don't know why. Apart from conjuring ghosts, table topic masters are the ones who scares me the most. Every time I see a table topic master come on screen, this is how the scene plays in my mind, and I am not kidding. अरे ओ सांबा, कितने आदमी लाए हो?
सरकार, आज 17 आदमी है।
आदमी 17, टॉपिक्स 3। क्या समझकर इतने आदमी को लाए हो? कि सरकार खुश होंगे, शाबाशी देंगे, क्यों?
माफ करना सरकार, माफ करना। आज क्या करने वाले हो सरकार?
अरे अपना काम ही डर का है रे सांबा, आंखों में आंखें डाल के देखो, लोग आंखें झुका लेते हैं, कैमरास बंद कर लेते हैं, इंटरनेट कनेक्शंस वीक हो जाते हैं। आज आज इस क्लब में दो चीजें होगी, टेबल टॉपिक्स भी होगा और बसंती भी नाचेगी। This is my plight. I would sit there in the audience praying, not me. Please don't pick me, table topics master. Not me, not today. Hello, Toastmasters. Do you feel this way? I feel this every time when a table topic session starts. But what I have realized is that we are never going to overcome our fears by running away from it. We'll have to face it one day, no matter how much you hide from it. Let that day be today. I'm giving you an opportunity to come and explore our fears together, right here, right now. As the timer have noted, the time limit for a table topic session is between 1 to 2 minutes. So the screen will go green at 1 minute, yellow at 1 minute and 30 seconds, red at 2 minutes. There's a buffer time of 30 seconds after the speech. So if you speak less than 1 minute and if you speak more than 2 minutes and 30 seconds, you are disqualified. All right. So let's begin the table topics. Can I have my volunteers, please? You can raise your hands through the emoji, that emoji symbol, which is much cooler than the Zoom we have here. Or else I'll have to put back my mustache, pick my gun, load it, and go after everybody one by one. All right. So let's kickstart it with Toastmaster Vijay. Toastmaster Vijay, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Ritik.
Toastmaster Vijay, it is not in the stars to hold our destiny, but in ourselves. It is not in the stars to hold our destiny, but in ourselves. Toastmaster Vijay.
Thank you, Table Topics Master, for making me the Samba. Am I audible, guys?
Yes, sir.
Am I visible? Hello? Hello?
So you can talk, sir. You're
Okay.
not very clearly
Yeah,
visible.
can you repeat the topic once again, please?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It is not in the stars to hold our destiny, but in ourselves. It is not in the stars to hold our destiny, but in ourselves. Toastmaster Vijay.
Thank you, Table Topics Master. It is not in the stars, but within ourselves that we hold our destiny. It reminds me of a movie which I saw a few years ago. A movie is titled The Fault in Our Stars. It showed the terminally ill patients falling in love, and they both falling in love with life once again, the journey in their love. But fine, the fault was in their stars because they're gonna die soon. But then they decide, what about the life which we have in hands right now? Isn't it within our own hands and destiny? So then they decide to create their own destiny, not to depend on the stars or anyone else. Rather, live life on their own and make their destiny. There's a saying in Hindi which goes this way: खुद ही को कर इतना बुलंद कि हर अज़ा से पहले खुदा आके तुझसे खुद ये पूछे कि बता तेरी रजा क्या है. So definitely make yourself so strong that destiny falls at your feet. Thank you for listening to me. Over to the Table Topics Master.
Wow, Toastmaster Vijay. That was rather an inspiring speech. Make yourself so strong enough that destiny falls in our feet. Such a beautiful message. You are an amazing speaker. Thank you so much. Can I have a guest volunteer, please? Any guest volunteer? You can just raise your hands.
I nominate Jerome.
All right. Toastmaster Jerome, are you up for it?
I haven't given a table topic speech in more than a year.
It's okay. It's okay. All
I'm not
right.
sure if my brain will work, but yeah, I don't mind giving it a
I'm
try.
going to give you an easy
Steve,
topic.
Steve is the table topics master here, as you all know.
Jerome, your brain has never worked. You can do this.
We'll bring Steve next. It will start
Okay,
with
thank you. Then that's fine. Okay.
All right.
I shall try my best.
All right. Okay. I don't want to give a topic from this. Steve, sorry, Toastmaster Jerome, your topic is you have come to this session after so long. How do you feel about it? Toastmaster Jerome, you have come to this session after so long. How do you feel about it?
Thank you, Toastmaster Ritik. Honestly, when I look back 1 year ago, I believe it was nearly a year ago when I attended the last session. And looking back, I was at a loss for words. Am I doing the right thing by leaving the club at this stage? And I still remember Toastmaster Vijay came up to me and he was like, Jerome, you're doing the wrong decision. You should not do this. Please stay with us. And I really did feel bad. But now when I look at the club right now, I must say I'm privileged to see the club is growing to this extent. I'm mesmerized to see the quality of the club because back then I couldn't guarantee the club would be this good. And I can see the amount of and the amount of the passion that you guys have put into your speeches. It's really enthralling for me to see that, and I really appreciate the entire XCOM and the previous XCOM for all of you for putting up an amazing job. Okay, this is really great for me to see because long back I visualized something like this, and Steve and I have talked about this many times that we want to come to a session many years later, or probably maybe we weren't thinking maybe 1 year later, we were thinking like ahead, and we were thinking, okay, how about we come for a session and nobody knows us, and we're just gonna be like, wow, this is really nice to see, and that is what I want to say today. I'm really happy to see the smiling faces and the encouragement that you guys are giving to each other. It's really amazing for me to see, and I am wholeheartedly happy to see the progress that the club has made this far. And thank you for the wonderful opportunity that you've given me as well to come into your midst and to share a few words. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Steve. The club is always open for you. You can come anytime you want. That was rather a beautiful speech. Thank you so much. Up next, as promised, we have Toastmaster Steve, and I want to give him. What topic do I give him? I didn't even prepare anything.
Google the most difficult topic you can think of.
All right. Steve, here's your topic. What really inspired you to start VTC? What was the inspiration behind it? What really inspired you to start VTC, Toastmaster Steve? Over to you.
What really inspired me to start VTC? Well, the truth of the matter is, I wasn't alone in starting VTC. There's nothing that particularly interested uh, it, it inspired me a lot because seeing that from all I'm sure you know that how we face a lot of difficulties and the lack of belief from a lot of people. when we started out, but at the same time, we had a lot of people also believing in us. I mean, it was it. I still remember the night. I think Melvin and Sean had called me up, and they said that they've had this idea of VTC for a while, but it's never gained any traction. Nobody's committed to it, and so on and so forth. And so we talked about it for a while, and we thought, I mean, maybe couldn't be fathomable 3 4 years ago from where we are. It seems right, and we're studying for 3 to 4 years in Vellore, and Vellore's taking us. We're to give back. So we 3 4 5 people, along with who else would support us, set out with this dream that was VTC, and we persevered through that initial time of seeming hopelessness, but we all had a little hope in ourselves, and we had that ideal of what we wanted to see. And uh, I guess that's it. And the only takeaway value from my experience that maybe I would like to give all of you is that whenever there's a difficulty, and when something seems hopeless or so on, make sure you have the right people around you, make sure you believe in your own vision, and make sure you have the strength and that you support each other as you go forward with your journey, because in the end, that journey is going to define the end so much more than the end justifies the journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Steve. The hope you had is bearing its fruit now. You can see it. So, thank you so much. Up next, can I have a volunteer? A Toastmaster volunteer from Vellore Toastmasters Club? Anybody? All right. I'll have to be the bad guy then. Toastmaster Kirtana Mogi. Kirtana ma'am, are you up for it?
Yeah, I'll give it a try because
Yeah.
I'm new, maybe. Yeah.
All right. Toastmaster Kirtana, life is what you make out of it. Life is what you make out of it. Toastmaster Kirtana.
Can I take a minute?
Sure, sure. Yes, ma'am. You can take 10, 15 seconds, 20 seconds to think, and then you can start whenever you're ready.
Okay, let me start. But is there any like rules that I should know?
Just that you'll have to speak for 1 minute. The time limit is between 1 to 2 minutes. You can speak for 1 minute and not more than 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Can I know the topic again? Life is what you make it.
Life is what you make out of it. Life is what you make out of it. Toastmaster Kirtan.
Hi, all of you. This is my first speech here. Life is what you make of it. So, yeah, there is a famous saying like, if life gives you lemon, make a lemonade out of it. So, whatever we get from our life, we have to make a positive thing out of it. It's all in our hands and our view of how to make it work. So, all we have to do is make it positive. And yeah, I think my kid is crying. Just a minute. Kid is crying. Just a minute. Sorry.
All right, ma'am. Ma'am, thank you so much.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. You tried.
I think
Thank you so much.
this is the right
It takes
timing
a lot of
to save
courage to
me.
walk here. Thank you so much for trying.
Sorry for the interruption.
No issues. No issues at all.
Yeah.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, considering the time limit we have, I would like to end my table topic session here. Thank you so much for volunteering, coming out, showing courage. This is what it takes. This is what it really takes to become leader, to become good communicators. Special thanks to Toastmaster Somini for playing Samba, and back to Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ritik. Did you know Amor Fati helps in positive thinking? Yes, positive thinking happens only when you want to move forward in life. And moving forward happens only when you accept things. And acceptance comes only when you believe in fate. When we accept what happens to us, particularly negative things that are outside our control, we are left with loving whatever happens to us and facing it with unfailing cheerfulness and strength. Amor Fati is a love of what happens because that is your only option and motivation that keeps us going. Entering our third section of our session, let's call our general evaluator, Toastmaster Ankit, for his evaluations.
Thank you, Toastmaster Darsini. Now, this is called the evaluation segment, where the evaluators will now evaluate the prepared speech speakers we had in the first segment. So, calling on the first evaluator to evaluate Toastmaster Kirti, let's call upon Toastmaster Bharat. Over to you.
Yeah, am I audible? Yeah. Thank you, Toastmaster Ankit. So, Toastmaster Kriti, well, the word wow is just not enough for your speech. Yes, really, I couldn't believe that it is your first speech in your pathway. I was just astonished with your performance. And the most important thing that I like in your speech is that your humor. Even most of the experienced speaker is just really struggling to add humor into the speeches. But you just master of the quality of humor in your speech. I just really love your humor, and you have just used it at the perfect places where it has to be suited. And moving on to the second thing that I like in your speech is that you added some codes in your speeches. For example, um, work hard in silence and let the success make some noise. So that would bring some special impact on your speech. Yes, that is the second important thing that gives a special value to your speech. And moving on to the third thing, and even you told the Hindi phrases as well. Well, I don't know Hindi, but I looked at people were smiling at your Hindi phrase. So that was a most important thing that you could add in your speech, and I really liked it. And moving on to next, you made a well-structured speech by so a icebreaker should have to contain your childhood stuff and how you got into here and how you made your life. So the path you described is such a beautiful way. So Toastmaster City, you did a great icebreaker speech, and I feel that I could make some few suggestions to your speech. So the first and foremost thing is that so the main element of a speech is bringing the voice modulation. So even though you did some voice modulation at the right time, the tone of the speech were just same at many points. For example, when you're saying the quote, so you can say it like with more emotional, like work hard in silence and let the success make some noise. So that would bring some more impact to the audience, and that would also create the attention to the people. Yes. And the next important thing that I want to say is that so firstly, a kudos to you for stand and delivering your speech. And, and the most important thing that I want to note is that the view of the phone. So you kept it at the lower position, so it looked like people seeing you from the bottom of the screen, and you are looking like something from top. So if you keep your phone like this, so for example, in a window or something in a stand. So that would help people to easily identify your hand gestures as well as they can see you clearly. So Toastmaster Kriti, to summarize, overall, you did a great job in your icebreaker, and I couldn't believe that you're an icebreaker as well. And if you could add this few suggestions, you can become a great speaker. Thank you. Over to the general.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bharat. That was a wonderful evaluation. Now let's move on to our second evaluator for today to evaluate Toastmaster. To evaluate Toastmaster Priyanka's speech, call upon Toastmaster Anand Kumar. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmasters and Keith. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Toastmaster Priyanka. She delivered her speech as usual, rocking with the smiley faces. She used the quote and speaking about mountain of life. She used the quote, success is not destination. It's very improvised to all. For the word, success is not destination. For this, she give more examples for success in their life. The word is most inspirations for all, I think. Her speech is very crystal clear and gestures and attitudes and way of speech and everything's very nice. While she is speaking in from the beginning, she used some songs in that garden, Hindi songs. Instead of Hindi, if she used English or Tamil, it's better for us. It's very nice. Overall, our speech is good. Today, I don't have any suggestions. Overall, today our speech is very maja. Thank you. Over to Ankit.
Thank you to Anand Kumar. Now before we move on to my report, we'll go to the tag team, my three pillars. So call upon my first pillar, the time for today, to my Somni for her report. Over to you.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Firstly, I think fate has been propitious to almost every one of us today, with every one of us qualifying for the awards, except for, of course, our Toastmaster Keetna in the table topic segment and Toastmaster Anand Kumar in the evaluation segment. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Toastmaster Keetana for stepping up and taking the TT role. This is Toastmaster Keetana's first ever VTC session as a Toastmaster. This is only her first session. So nobody could have done it. Hats off to you, ma'am. And one suggestion I have for Toastmaster Anand Kumar while he's taking up evaluations is that he could always try to bring it to at least 2 minutes, which is the qualifying time. And you might challenge yourself by taking up the evaluation roles more often and try and push your evaluation skills. So that, and the specific timings for everybody's speeches, I think would be causing hassle if I'm going to read it out. So I'll type it out and post it in the chat box for every speaker to see it for themselves. Thank you. Over to the general evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Somni. Now moving on to my second pillar, our counter for today, Toastmaster Vijay for his report.
Thank you, General Evaluator. What could be heaven for an R counter on the Platinum Jubilee? It's heavenly to see all the speakers with less than 5 R counters. It reduces my burden and puts up a bright smile on my face. Thank you, speakers, for such a lovely day. Although I'd like to add that all these filler words come as a reflex out of a straight want to think something or to connect to something. The best thing is to take a pause at that moment and give yourself time and also the audience a time and not look awkward. Thank you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vijay. Now moving on to my last pillar, the remain for today, Toastmaster Sadhana, for her report. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Dear fellow Toastmaster, friends and guests, I am back, my team. It's a pleasure listening to your speeches, and I found a few excellent use of English new words. With meaning, I will tell you people like introvert, shy person, reserved one, extrovert, enthusiastic, talkative, privileged, it's an advantage, ideal, excellence, astonishing, extremely impressive, crystal clear, easily understood. So these are the new words that had been used in the session. It was absolutely great job, Toastmasters. Meanwhile, I am happy to see that fellow members are eager to use the word of the day. But I could only found only one guy who used a propitious the word of the day. So we have so many use this word of the day. It's a great job, and let's give a big round of applause for Saumini. As you can see this word is really helpful to conveying your message. I hope everyone can easily use it more often in your future speech. And we would got much propitious moment today as a platinum jubilee. And that's it. Back to you, gentle evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sadhana, for your report. I'm assuming the ballot form has gone out. Can someone confirm if the ballot form has been sent on the group? Toastmaster Somani, has the ballot form been sent out?
I've put it in the chat box here.
Okay, great. Everyone can fill the form. Till then, I will start my report. Okay, so first of all, again, hearty congratulations to VDC for completing 75 sessions, reaching such a big milestone, the achievement for all of you. So, round of applause for all the members of VDC for accomplishing such a big milestone. So, round of applause for all of you. Now, I will quickly dive into my report. I'll try to keep it as short as possible. Let's move. So, first, start with the essay for today. Again, Toastmaster Ritik provided such a grand start to our whole session, being plus a big lively energy to the session, such a strong and powerful introduction. So great job, Toastmaster Ritik, and also laid on the ground rules for the session, for the guests and members to follow. So excellent job there as well. Moving on to our TM module for today, Toastmaster Darsini. Again, a very unique topic you chose for our milestone session. Again, it felt I never heard of this topic before. It was a very great, insightful topic to talk about as well, and got such an in-depth meaning about life from Toastmaster Darshini. So thank you for that, Toastmaster Darshini. Now moving on, I'll quickly dive into the evaluator speaker pairs. So first pair having Toastmaster Bharat and Toastmaster Kirti. Toastmaster Kirti being your first ever speech, icebreaker speech in Toastmasters. I know my first speech, I remember I was completely nervous. I was having lots of narcons, but you had confidence in your speech and you gave a great speech. And the great thing I felt about her speech was she stood up and gave her speech. Which I think that's one thing we can, all the members of VDC can take back, because when we return back to our normal, when we, if assuming Corona ends, when you go back to our classroom sessions, you will be have to stand up and give your role. So I request all the at least the speakers and evaluators to at least when you're in your home stand up and give your roles, because you get, because again if you keep sitting around giving your roles, it'll be very difficult to adjust back when you go back to your offline sessions again. So at least the speakers and evaluators, at least try and stand up and give your speeches and reports. So it'd be an easy, you get a better understanding how to use your stage coverage as well. So great example set by Toastmaster Kirti. Again, a very insightful topic. I love how she used chocolate to and to convey her message. And she had the only thing suggestion I have for you is I felt like, again, you were a bit nervous. That's completely understandable for your first speech. But I felt like you were you at all times you're clasping your hands like this, and most of the time during speech. I think this is a sign of nervousness. Again, relax. You're here to improve. Toastmasters and VDC is there for you to improve. So again, all the people sitting in front of you are your family. There's no need to be nervous. Just take a deep breath and leave your hands loose. Because I felt like you were continuously clasping your hands throughout your whole speech, which showed that you were nervous throughout your whole speech. So that's one thing you can work upon. Otherwise, all the other points are covered by Toastmaster Bharat. Again, coming to your evaluate Toastmaster Bharat, again, great improvement Toastmaster Bharat. Because I remember when I was a G last time for VDC, and from that time till here, your evaluation has improved a lot. I love was completely really good. You sorted out your positives very clearly. You sorted your negatives very clearly, and you summarized at the end. So great job, Toastmaster Bharat. Coming again, one suggestion for you is, I think this is a general suggestion for everybody. For like, since you're moving to MS Teams, before starting your role, do an audio video check always, because internet is completely an unreliable thing which you cannot rely upon. So again, do an audio video check so that you can clearly know that you are audible. Because I felt like, I think Toastmaster Bharat, in your introduction, the beginning, your audio was not very clear. If you've done an audio video check, you've understood that your audio was not clear, and someone would point that out to you. So again, it came back to normal within like 10 seconds. But again, I think for all the role players, so even the speakers and evaluators, do an audio video check before you can. Even for the speakers, before TMOD can tell the speaker to do an audio video check, they can do an audio video check, give an OK, and then they can announce the speech title. Same for the table topic segment. The table topic speaker, before announcing the title of the table topic, do an audio video check. Then the TM can give the title of the table topic. So this again, because the internet is reliable, this will prevent any issues of the general evaluator not hearing anything to evaluate. Again, coming to our second pair, which was Toastmaster Priyanka and Toastmaster Anant Kumar. Again, Toastmaster Priyanka, you are full of energy. The way you use your storytelling skills to present your speeches is very beautiful. That's a great talent of yours. How you described, I could like feel every moment which you were describing to us. You're talking about whatever story you give your take back value. Powerful storytelling is something I see very rarely, but Toastmaster Priyanka is very beautiful how you present your speech today. Again, I feel like next time onwards, I feel like the one suggestion for you is, I feel like you can try using a bit of voice modulation, because I feel like there are some places where you can use a high tone and some low tones. When you're like high tones are for like very excited places, and for like a bit sad places, you can use a lower tone. There's something you can work upon. Otherwise, I felt like it was a really good speech overall. Because the only thing I felt was your speech was, it wasn't in one tone. It was like you were just narrating a story to everybody. The speech aspect is missing from it. So by adding voice modulation to it, it'll feel like a speech. Coming to Toastmaster Anand Kumar, again, for your introduction especially, again, the introduction for an evaluator is to present the project to the speaker, to the audience, what project they're speaking on. You went on to compliment Toastmaster Priyanka, which is very nice, and she felt very good before starting her speech. But again, the part for the introduction of the evaluator is to present the project. What project is Toastmaster Priyanka presenting? So the audience knows that, okay, research or presentation, or is it evaluation feedback? That is the use of the introduction for evaluator. So again, complimenting her is nice, but again, mention what are the objectives of the speaker, like how Toastmaster Bharat did. He told that she's starting an icebreaker speech and she has to speak on this any topic of any sort. That is the point. That is the rule of the. That is the point of the introduction of for the evaluator, to present the objectives to the audience. Again, so they know, okay, this person speaks on this topic. Again, moving on to the table topic segment. Again, a great skit performed by Toastmaster Somni and Toastmaster Ritik, very entertaining to watch. But again, one suggestion is for because I felt like this was going on throughout the whole session. A lot of people are using Hindi during the speech, and I feel like many people do not know Hindi here. Again, if you're using Hindi for a sentence or two, it is fine. But again, translate the sentence after you're done speaking the sentence. So the audience, people, non-Hindi people also know what the meaning of the sentence is. Because I feel like Toastmaster Bharat and Toastmaster Anand Kumar didn't quite grasp what you were talking about when you're conversing in Hindi. I think even a lot of people had like Hindi lines in their speeches. So again, if you're using a Hindi line, it's okay. One or two lines is fine. But translate it immediately after you speak that line. So the non-Hindi speaking members also know what you're talking about. So they will also be a part of that joke or whatever you're talking about. Otherwise, a great topic speakers, which are Toastmaster, firstly Toastmaster Vijay. Again, Toastmaster Vijay, sir, you're like amazing. Your energy is incredible. I wish I had the kind of energy to excite an audience, to bring so much life into your words. That is one talent of yours I can learn. I think everyone can take back. Bring that much energy into your words, in your sentence, in your speech. So people don't listen to you. They just admire your energy at the end of the day. So that's a wonderful thing, Toastmaster Vijay. Again, it was a wonderful table topic. I love how you immediately captivate the meaning of the topic and present to the audience. It's very nice. Steve, I think I'll give a combined evaluation for you. Again, because Ritik wanted to go down memory lane, so he gave you such a topic. Again, it felt very nice knowing what you guys took back from it and how VTC was formed. It is great having you in VTC sessions. And again, without you, this VTC over here would not be possible. So thank you for your hard work and dedication. Again, Toastmaster, the last tabletop speaker, Toastmaster Kirtana. Again, she was going really well in the introduction, but again, due to unfortunate circumstances, she had to stop. But again, I loved how she started off, tried to explain the meaning. Again, I felt like she would have done a really good job if she was able to finish on time. But again, it's your first ever table topic. Again, we'll have a lot more chances, a lot more table topics to give. Table topic masters are eagerly looking for people to give table topics to. Again, just like I see this like common trend even in VIT clubs and VTC clubs, people are reluctant to give table topics. But from personal experience, the only way you improve at giving impromptu speaking is by giving more and more table topics. So again, whoever you feel like they're bad at table topics, you want to improve more, the only improvement you have is giving more and more table topics. And only will overcome the confidence. But always remember, there's one tip also again, table topics is same as speeches. You should have a proper introduction, there should be a proper body, and there should be a proper conclusion. So always make sure you're maintaining that in a table topic as well. Again, it's not because even that should be structured. Because I feel like, and I see a lot of PDC people giving table topics, the structure is missing in their table topics. So again, remember, even a table topic is a speech. There should be a proper introduction and then introduce a topic, give a proper body, and then what take back value you want to give. That's the most important part of a table topic. What message are you giving to your audience? So that is 100% needs to be there in a table topic. So make sure when you give a table topic, you give a message to your audience members as well. Coming to my 3 pillars, my tag team. Again, I don't have much to say about that because all 3 of you had beautiful introductions. It immediately started the ball rolling for this amazing session. Again, for the timer, one suggestion is when you give an introduction, show the timer cards to the members so they know what the timer, if any guests are there, so they know this is what a card looks like, what they're expected to see when they're speaking. So again, a lot of new members are here now in the club I've seen. So again, they should also understand every aspect of that session. So showing the card during the introduction also helps. That they can decide to expect when I'm speaking on stage. There should be some unexpected surprise to them as well. Again, Toastmaster Vijay sir, amazing energy as usual. A great introduction, Again, I love how each of the 3 tag members give personal suggestions to the audience how to improve as well. That was a very good touch during the reports and very important as well. Again, great job to Sadhana. Okay, one suggestion I've seen because many people were not able to use the word the day today. I think only so many had used it today. So one suggestion for all the future grammarians as well: start with simpler words. Again, I felt like this word is a bit more harder to use, and again, try using for words which are simpler words. So again, people can get used to the word using the words a day and try incorporating their speeches. And again, because we can start complicated words later, start by using simpler words so at least the audience members can try adding them to their speeches and adding them to their table topics. Again, I felt this word was a bit on the harder end and people struggle to put them in their speeches and their table topics. So for all the future grammarians who take up the role, try using simpler words a day so people can start trying to give using those in their speeches, and then we can move on to harder words. Again, then just some like a general report, like to summarize all my points, because since you're moving into MS Teams, again, like I mentioned, do an audio video check before you start your role when you come up on stage, so audience members know if there's any internet issues or anything like that. Again, try standing up while you're giving your roles, because again, that's how you understand how to use a stage also, because stage is also a very powerful element in your speech. How to use that effectively is also very important. Again, try using a simpler word for the words a day so people can incorporate. And if you're using Hindi or any other language during your speech or your role, give the translation as well, so the non-speaking members also understand what you want to convey, and they can also be a part of your speech. Otherwise, you also feel left out. Again, it was a wonderful session. It was great to be back in VTC. So thank you for having me as your general evaluator. That concludes my report, and back to the Amor Toastmaster Darsini. Thank you.
Thank you, General Evaluator. We need to accept the fact that all events occur for a reason, and that it is within our capacity to see the reason positively. This is not to say that good will always outweigh the bad. Still, let's embrace all of it. Let's not just wish for it to be any different. Let's just be glad for all the things that happened the way it did. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If anything must occur, Amor Fati is the response. Thank you. Over to the presiding officer.
Thank you, Toastmaster Darshini. I really didn't prepare anything for it, but you know, I'll play the role of presiding officer and SA together right now, and it's just beautiful to acknowledge the fact that Kriti gave her first speech today. Kirtana ma'am gave her first table topics today. Darshini played her first TMOD role today. And this is the first time we are in a meet on a different platform. It's we are trying something new and it's really amazing. And without further ado, I would like to announce the winners of the ballots. So the best table topic speaker of today's session is Toastmaster Vijay. The best role player is Toastmaster Somini. The best role player for today's session is Toastmaster Darshini. And now, the most important part. Tan, 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 tan. The best speaker for today's session goes to Toastmaster Kriti. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank each and every one of you. I would like to begin thanking Toastmaster Steve, Toastmaster Jerome for attending this session. This means a lot to us. This really means a lot to us. I hope you keep coming to Vellore Toastmasters Club every 10 sessions, maybe. It inspires us a lot. And I would like to thank Toastmaster Ankit for being a part, for being the general evaluator of today's session. It was such a deliberate report. Thank you so much. And with that, I would like to declare this meet, the 75th session of Vellore Toastmasters Club, close. Thank you.
Toastmaster Ritik, I would like to share a few words.
Yeah, sure, Bharat.
Yeah. So firstly, I would like to thank three people at this moment. Firstly, I would like to thank the pillars who have come to this session. So they have a lot of commitment. Even though they have the commitment, they have come for us and they helped for the growth of the club and they are still with us. And that's the most happiest thing that the club can have. So my big thanks to all the pillars who are here and who are not able to attend. And I believe your support will be key with the club. And secondly, I would like to thank Toastmaster Ankit for being the general evaluator for the session. So I just gave an invite to him and he just accepted it. I really, really thank you, Toastmaster Ankit, for being a part of the session. And most importantly, I would like to thank Toastmaster Darshini, who saved the session of today. Without her, the session is not possible today. Yes, because Toastmaster Raghavi was couldn't able to join. So she was the TMOD before, as her aunt passed away yesterday. She couldn't able to make the session, and Toastmaster Darshini take up the role, and she put a wonderful show today. So thank you, Toastmaster Darshini, for saving the club. So that's it. Over to the president.
Darshini, can I take up your chance and speak first?
No, sir. Before that, can we all have a picture, please? Can we just turn on the videos so that we can take a screenshot and put it in Instagram because it is our 75th session? Can we do that, please? I request everyone to turn on your videos to see the beautiful faces, please. Can everyone turn on your videos? Kriti, Bharat, who else? Devendran sir, Anant Kumar sir, and who else? Please guys, can we turn on the video? It's our 75th session. Okay, I don't think people are gonna turn on, so maybe we can smile for a second so that we can take a screenshot in the recording. So 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, so that's fine. I'll take a screenshot. Thank you, sir. You can go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Jerome and Steve, for being here. The last time I met you guys was on the 50th session of Vellore Toastmasters Club. I remember the 50th session came too soon as I joined it. As Toastmaster Jerome has mentioned, I was too scared when he said that he's leaving. He made me take the SA position on the third day after me joining the Vellore Toastmasters Club. The third day. I didn't even take up any role, or even I did just one tabletop. The next day he calls me and says that, can you take the essay? I said, no, I cannot. I've just joined. And I took it, and after that he says that I'm leaving the club. I'm like, what is this? I would have never taken the role had I known this. And so the journey began there. And the 50th session also came too soon. But I started loving the role of Sergeant. Even today, if there's an election and I am asked to personally choose a role, I'll choose the role SA. Because that's the role, which gives you the opportunity to pump in all the energy which is required. I'd like to be the Virendra Sehwag every day. Now, Jerome, I really want to know from you and Steve, 50th session and the 75th session. Are we growing? Are we on the right path? And what can we do more? Take us ahead to the place, to the dream which you guys saw once. Please let us know today.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vijay, and thank you everyone for inviting. Especially before I say something else, I just want to thank Bharat actually, because Bharat is the one, the VPPR, and he kept calling. And I was under the impression, okay, I'll just say something and I'll just get off. I was under that impression, and Bharat, he kept putting messages day after night, day after day. He kept putting messages, bro, please join, bro, please join. And that is the only reason I was able to make it. I said, okay, fine. If someone is that persistent, I cannot say no. Okay, I was like, no, okay, I'll just join, and I'll just stay for some time. And I was actually planning to leave in half an hour, and I was like, okay, I'll just say something. I actually told Bharat also. I texted him saying I'll leave in 1 hour. But seeing you guys, the performance and everything, I was enthralled. I was actually enthralled, and that is the only reason I sat the entire session. And I was really impressed with the kind of speeches you guys gave, and I really loved it. And also, it's great to see Ankit also here, and I really appreciate the area team for all the support that you guys are doing. And I can see that the club is actually growing a lot. When I left the club, I think it was the only people I remember is Toastmaster Vijay, Toastmaster Anand Kumar, Toastmaster Devendran, and I think Toastmaster Ritik. I think these are the only people and Toastmaster Bharat. Yeah, these were the only people who I remember when I left the club. And now I see a lot of new faces, and all of you guys are amazing speakers. And that is what I love, because I had a lot of talks with Toastmaster Vijay in between, and he told me the quality of the club was improving, and I was a bit skeptical to hear that. But today, when I saw that, I was actually very impressed, and I'm really grateful, and I'm really glad to see this. And I hope you guys continue the good work, and I hope to see much great speakers coming out of the club, and reaching area levels. I hope to see that from this club. That is one of the things that I've always wanted to see, the great area speaker coming up from the club, and the club growing to much greater heights, and living up to probably, as you guys know, Steve is the guy who has gone to district from VTC, and so if people from the same club could go up to that level, it would be amazing. So none of us could live up to that, but I really hope someone else from VTC as well to be able to live up to that. All right, thank you all.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jerome, for giving us a dream now to continue. Thank you. Steve, can you go next, please?
Hello, everybody. Good evening. First of all, thank you for always inviting me to the special sessions. It's always a joy to see everyone again and see new faces. Although I'm very curious about where some of our older members went. Like I don't see them right now, but I'm sure they must be busy for some reason. But yeah, I'm happy to see so many new faces here. I'm happy to see Ankit over there. Ankit is part of Breeza, and I was also part of Breeza when I was still in VIT clubs. So I've seen him grow as well, and he's also become this outstanding member right now. So it's a really good view to see everyone here. I'm seeing people growing. I'm seeing new people give it all they have, all their hearts, and putting in all their passion, and it's a good feeling to see a community that exists right now. I mean, I remember starting the club, we had a community club, but we had new members, we had some people going, coming, nobody knew each other. And the prime goal at that time, I remember I was talking to Siddharth at that time when I was president. Siddharth was VP Ed, and a VP Ed's responsibility is to, make sure the educational goals are qualified while at the same time making sure all the points and everything stack up. And Siddharth used to come to me and tell me, Steve, we need to stack up points. And I used to say, Siddharth, throw the points out of the window. I don't want points. If my president ends with 0 points, I don't care. But our primary goal here is to create a base of knowledge, to create a community, to create friendships inside here, an environment of support. And that's what we want to create. And I don't care if we don't get any points. And I, if you ask me, I still think that was the right decision, because if that is what led to this currently what I see right now, the sense of community with everyone helping each other out, and this very joyous, appreciative of efforts community, I think all of you are doing a great job. I don't have too much to add. Anything that I had to say, the general evaluator said it. And so, yeah, it's a perfectly self-sustainable system, as I always wanted it to be. I just want to see you guys grow. I just want to see you guys expand, bring in more people, create a bigger community of joy, respect, and happiness, and learning, and all those great words that you could use. So I'm just happy to see you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you to Steve, Toastmaster Steve, for us. Thank you so much. Steve, speaking of friends, on the screen you can see some of the best of my friends here. All our VTC members, we are all friends first. We have a very good bonding. We support each other, as you have said. And speaking of VPA, I should really take this time to appreciate our VPA so many. She is a taskmaster. And at the age and the experience she's doing, it's exceptional. She goes at length.
I was going to add the same thing to Vijay, because being the area PQD, I've seen, because Souni being a very relative new member, taking up such a huge responsibility for the club, being the VP of the club, such an early stage, she's done commendable work. So everyone, she deserves a round of applause. Great job.
We all take a bow to our VP. She has been taking extra effort, going that extra mile, and she ensures that things are done smoothly and willingly. There's no force at all. Secondly, speaking, Toastmaster Darsini did the TMOD role today. He's a relatively very new member. Took the TMOD role just at 2 days' notice. I am offered it today. Yesterday, Priyanka had called me and asked me, Vijay sir, can you take the SA role? I said, Priyanka, I'd love to do it. But please remember that I have a speech tomorrow at my club and I have not prepared for the R counter. So you see if you can find someone else. And if you don't find, I'd love to do it. But I did not say yes immediately. But here we have Dashni, a new member. Immediately said, yes, I'll do it. No script in 2 days. But the posters were made with the topic, the theme. It was not her selection. And because the posters were made, she did it. So this is the quality which we have at Vellore Toastmasters Club. I just wish that we are giving them what all they require to grow more. So we will require your help, your guidance always, Steve, Jerome, Ankit. Please be with us, support us, all these people who give me energy as well. Ankit, you've been saying about my energy. These are the, youngsters, Ritik, Somini, Dashni, Priyanka, Kriti, Bharat, Sadhana, all these people, beam, they keep bombarding me with energy. What do? I just reflect what I get. That's all from my end. Thank you, Ankit, for being here. Thank you very much, Jerome, for putting me on that, that burden on my shoulders. Thank you, Steve, for keeping it afloat so that we reach this day. And we have a milestone now to be where you were one day at the district. And I'm sure we've got members who can do that. Thank you very much, guys.
Also, like big credits to Toastmaster Bharat. He's the one who approached me for the Giro, and he wrote such a flattering message that please we want you to be there for our session. So please come with this Jenny posters. The Instagram page is also he's blooming a lot. So beautiful job to Bharat, doing a great job for the whole PR job of Toastmaster, Vellore Toastmasters Club. So excellent job.
Guys, I think we are done. Time to goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. Take care.
Goodbye, Steve. Keep coming. Jerome, please keep coming. Thank you, Ankit, for being here. Thank you, VTC.